Alrighty, let's jump into it, guys. Today I want to talk about CBN, Cannabinol. So, you might have heard of CBD, CBG, THC, and of course, the one I'm going to talk about today, CBN. All of these are cannabinoids. A cannabinoid is a compound that acts on the cannabinoid receptors, and these can actually be endogenous compounds called endocannabinoids, so they're produced naturally in the body. But the ones we're talking about from marijuana, from cannabis, come from about 4 different classes that are the predominant ones. CBD, as we've seen lately, some farmers have been breeding CBD dominant hemp, CBD dominant cannabis, to have something like 20 to 30%, if not more, CBD by weight. Now, this is opposed to, of course, the THC strains that we've seen going up and up and up for the last, 30, 40 years, where originally, probably in 1960, 70, the amount of THC in pot was around something like 15 to 20%, and now it can reach as high as 40 to 50%. Literally half the weight could be THC. So you might have heard that CBD tends to be something that will relax you. It tends to, what people say, is antagonize THC. So people like to get these half and half strains. But I don't want to talk about CBD today, because CBD, I think it's a great cannabinoid, but there's far too many products on the market for CBD, and they're of varying quality, and people like to say it's advertised often as non-psychoactive, but the truth is, if you take a lot of CBD, it's certainly psychoactive. Like, I've had muscle spasms and kind of LSD type thoughts from taking close to half a gram of CBD at once. So CBD in low doses, sure, you can say it's not psychoactive, but in higher doses, it totally is. So that's just a total crock of shit. What I want to talk about, though, is CBN. Because the thing about CBD is, at least what I've noticed, CBD in high doses causes raised heart rate. As you take more and more CBD, you will get a raised heart rate. And yet it's supposed to be anti-anxiety. So it's kind of interesting that you could be taking it for anxiety, and it could actually give you more anxiety if it raises your heart rate. CBN, on the other hand, tends to be more like a benzodiazepine. It's much more of a sedative, and it's indicated for sleep. It's indicated for anxiety, as you can see, Mary's Medicinal is one of the biggest brands of kind of these patches. They even make THC patches, but of course only in the states that will sell them with the medical cards and licenses and whatever, or the legalized states. But they do sell like totally legal CBD, and I think CBN patches are legal in most states. And they say, okay, muscle spasms, inflammation, insomnia. So my personal experience, and I have right here a CBN cartridge. I also have the tinctures. So I'm going to show you right here. I've only found one website, one manufacturer that will actually make CBN isolates. Well, they're not totally isolates. They still have the terpenes, but they'll be CBN predominant with no THC. So you can buy these online, totally legal, and they work amazing for anxiety and sleep. Like, CBN, in my opinion, is one of the best cannabinoids, other than, of course, if you want to talk about THC, but I'm just talking about legal stuff, about, totally legal. THC, in some people, including myself, can cause kind of paranoia and panicking in higher doses, whereas CBN, I've never noticed any of that. It is literally just like a pure effect. It's not psychoactive and kind of like giving you weird thoughts. It's more of just like a straight downer. So yeah, Potluck Expo sells a tincture. They sell carts. I have the cart right here. It's citrus flavored. They are a little pricey from what I've been told. But then again, I don't have my medical license, so and I don't really like THC all that much because, like I mentioned, it has kind of split effects. Sometimes you trip out, sometimes you don't. But CBN has been great for me for helping me sleep, helping me relax. It's non-addictive, not habit forming. And these extracts have the full terpenes. So it's just, there's a lot of studies that say they can be anti-inflammatory. They can the terpenes can also be somewhat sedating by themselves. It's not just the cannabinoids, but you want to get kind of the full plant. So it's nice that this manufacturer, Potluck Expo, does have full terpenes. You can literally like smell them in the tincture. You can taste them. There's some limonene and like other terpenes that are definitely there, adding to the aroma and possibly to the effects. So yeah, I'd highly recommend CBN if you have trouble sleeping. If you try chamomile, valerian, skullcap, if you try these kind of GABAergic substances, maybe you use benzos for sleep at the current moment, maybe you don't use anything but you're having trouble sleeping, I would definitely give CBN a try. It seems to be the least hazardous and the least kind of severe kind of I guess has the least trade-offs in my opinion. It's just not addictive. There's no withdrawal tolerance or any of that. So it just seems to be if it works for you, it'd be a good solution as opposed to these other things. Everyone likes to think that chamomile and valerian are sort of like non-habit forming. The truth is they are. There's studies, if you Google like NIH, like valerian, like here, NIH valerian withdrawal. Like a guy checked himself in the hospital, he was using valerian every day. Where is it? Let's see if I can find it. I probably can't find it now, but yeah, so it's like this. I think this is just an article, but there's a study like 58-year-old man was taking valerian for many years. He stopped because I guess he was in the hospital, and he had pretty bad withdrawal. Yeah, he was in there for a lung nodule, so he wasn't being given his prescription. That's a big issue with a lot of these non-prescription and prescription drugs. You've been taking them. Maybe something happens to you, you're in a car accident, you get jailed overnight for some bullshit, and you don't get those substances, and boom, like you're in an existential crisis. So, I tend to favor the substances, ethnobotanicals and herbs, just that are non-addictive, that don't have a physical dependence, because at least if you get in a jam, you're not going to go into some kind of physical existential crisis, not having them. And there's cases where people have died in jail because they were on some, they're pretty heavily on something and then they didn't get it, heroin, other things like that. They literally, the COs, ignored them and they died from withdrawal. So I'm not saying that's going to happen from taking valerian for a while. You probably wouldn't die if you, got in a car wreck or got stranded, but it'd certainly be unpleasant. And it could actually, you could be looking for water and stuff, and you have a survival scenario, and because of these withdrawal symptoms, you're not able to perform the way you should, and you die because you're not on top of your game. So yeah, be aware that these other kind of sleep supplements like valerian and chamomile, they've been shown to have GABAergic behavior. So anything that's going to hit the GABA receptors, for the most part, it's going to impart a kickback effect from the brain, and it's going to induce a tolerance. And it's clearly dose dependent, and it's also dependent on the periodicity. So how often you take it. If you take it daily, that definitely adds to it. If you take high doses, that definitely adds to it. So definitely give CBN a try if anxiety and insomnia is your thing, I'm gonna post a link in the description. It's actually an affiliate link. I never really do affiliate link stuff, but this vendor provides an affiliate program, so if this information helps you out, I'll probably make other videos with other things I find helpful. Yeah, definitely, check out those links. There's pre-filled cartridges, there's tinctures, there's vape juice that you can get, and you can fill your own. Like if you have a Kanger Tech or like a box mod, you can fill that up yourself. The pre-filled carts, the one right here, it's from the Kind pens. It's a mediocre cartridge. There's nothing like special about it. I mean, if you do have your own atomizer, you have one of these high ohm, high resistance vapes. You're probably gonna get a better vape from that. So I'd recommend just buying the vape juice, filling up your cart if you have a nice cart. Otherwise, this is alright. These carts definitely. I think the carts. Let's see, is cheaper than the tinctures. Yeah, the tincture's $70. They do have a $50 tincture, but the cartridge is $35. So if you just want to give it a trial, see if you like it, you might just want to buy the cartridge. Now they do list other things like the CBG, CBD, CBN mixes, and I will say that I have all of them. I have their CBD 5,000 milligram isolate, and I'm just not really a big fan of CBD anymore, like I said. I have found, though, that CBD, and a lot of people say this, THC and CBD can activate each other. You don't need much, but just like CBD alone tends to be, ineffectuous. But then when you add a tiny bit of THC, somehow there's an activation, some kind of synergy. The same thing, I think, happens with CBN. If you just take a little bit of CBD with it, they activate each other. So, in any case, CBG, on the other hand, we could talk about that, even though this is really about CBN. So CBG tends to be non-psychoactive, not really much of an effect. I have it, I've taken it. Anecdotally, I can tell you that it really does not have much of an effect physiologically that's, immediate. But it's supposed to be really helpful for inflammation, for like tumors, sarcomas, for all kinds of like physical ailments, like illnesses. It's shown to have some great effects. So as a health supplement, CBG, seems to be pretty good. But if you are just looking for something for your mental issues, insomnia, anxiety, things like that, there's really no point of taking CBG. It's somewhat expensive, and it's really just kind of like fish oil in terms of, health effects. So they do sell mixes of CBG with CBD and CBN, and I wouldn't recommend them for any kind of really anything but a physical ailment. I haven't noticed much. It's more of a health supplement. So yeah, CBN, great sedative, similar to benzos, much less habit forming, much safer. Give it a try. Let me know what you guys think. Hope this video helps you, and Church of Thought out.